So first of all, just like with any other problem we do, if it's a mixed number, we're going to change it to an improper fraction so we can do our operation. Okay. We're going to work on that more tomorrow. Okay. But what we need to do is we need to make sure that our fractions have a common denominator. We cannot add fractions together. We cannot subtract fractions together unless we have a common denominator. Okay. Once we have a common denominator, then we can add and subtract the numerators, but we have to keep the common denominator the same. Okay. Of course, our fractions for our answers always need to be simplified. And if it's an improper fraction, we rewrite it as a mixed number. Okay. So in number one, do we have common denominators? Yeah, we do. So write this with me, please. When we are adding fractions and we have a common denominator, our denominator stays the same. And then we can add or subtract the numerator. So Alexander, what does our numerator become? 4. Okay. Tatum, would we keep our answer as 4/10? No, we need to reduce by what? 2. So Austin, what's our new answer?
2/5.
2/5. Awesome. Now, when we don't have common denominators, like this guy right here, we need to make common denominators. So in the middle of your table, you have some laminated sheets that look like this. Okay. I want you to go ahead and grab one, and we're going to use an expo marker, and I'm just going to help remind you how we do problems like this. Okay. So in number 2, and we're going to come back to our papers, so leave them open. But in number 2, our problem is 1/4 plus 2/3, correct? Okay, so I need you to write the 1, the 4, the plus sign, the 2, and the 3. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to multiply both fractions by a number. But can I just like multiply by 5, multiply by 3? No, we have to multiply essentially by 1, because multiplying by 1 means we're not changing the value. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring down this 1/4 plus 2/3. Go ahead and write those in the purple boxes. Hey, Austin, I need you to pay attention, please. Who can tell me what our common denominator is going to be? Jacob? 12. Right? How did he know that? Okay. How did you know that, Jacob? 4 times 3 is 12. So at the very least, what we can do, this fraction that has the denominator of 4, we can multiply by the number that is in the other denominator, 3/3. Remember, it has to be 1. And then over here, where our denominator is 3, we're going to multiply by the other denominator, 4/4. So now, when I take 1 times 3 and 4 times 3, that fraction becomes 3/12. Plus, we still have that operation, 2 times 4 and 3 times 4. And so this fraction becomes 8/12. Do we have common denominators now? Yes, we do. So Cash, what's our answer? Okay, I'm giving you a hint up here. What's 3 plus 8? 11, and then we keep our common denominator. So 11 over 12 would be our fraction. That is our answer. We cannot simplify it anymore, so we'll leave it as 11 over 12. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to transfer this work over to your paper notes. So in your paper notes, I would like you to write down that we took 1/4 plus 2/3. We multiplied them by 3 over 3, 4, 4, to get 3 over 12 plus 8 over 12 equals 11 over 12. Transfer it over into your paper notes. Listening is hard today. So listening is hard today. I didn't say it. Okay. Okay, once you have it transferred, will you please erase the template? And then I know you'll be ready for our next problem. Okay, we're gonna do problem number 3. 3/10 minus 11/15. Is that okay? Can I use your paper to help me? Thanks. What a guy. Boom. So we have 3/10 minus 11/15. Now, there are a couple different ways we can go about making common denominators. Okay. But for sure, what were you saying? You said something like 10 times 15. Oh, yeah. Okay, since our two denominators are 10 and 15, we can make a common denominator of 150. Okay, if you have another idea, just hold on to it. Okay. Well, it's fine, because we would take this fraction of 3/10 and we would multiply by the other denominator of 15 and 15. Okay. We would take this fraction with the denominator of 15 and we would multiply numerator and denominator by the other denominator. So notice how 10 came here and 15 came here. Okay. So what we have is 45 over 150 minus 110 over 150. We would get a negative. Tatum says we're going to get a negative. A negative what? What is 45 minus 110? Tatum's already said it's going to be negative. Uh-huh. It's something 5.
85. 160.
So we're basically saying 45 plus a negative 110 65.
You know what? Credit.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Hey, we're gonna make mistakes. We're trying. So negative 65 over 150. Jacob, is that how we would want to leave our answer? Okay, both of those numbers we know for sure are divisible by what? By 5. So if we divide these by 5, we would get 30 for our numerator.
Oh, I gotta write this down.
And negative 65 divided by 5. 13 for our numerator. Now, does somebody have a different idea for getting common denominators? Allie. Okay, so what would our common denominator be? Okay, so I'm gonna erase this real quick, everything except the answer. And you can just follow along, or if you want to write it down, that's up to you. So Allie is saying, you know what we can do is we can make a common denominator of 30. So if we multiply 10 by 3 and 15 by 2, then our common denominator could be 30. So we could have 9 over 30 minus 22 over 30. No way. No way.
That's so silly.
We get negative 13 over 30 for our answer. Okay. Now, what did we not have to do when we got to this answer? We didn't have to simplify. Okay. Now, is simplifying difficult? No, not necessarily. So if you find a common denominator that is less than, like in this case, 10 times 15, that's fine if you want to use it. It's going to save you some simplifying in the end. But if you don't see it, it's okay to use the two denominators. You're just going to have bigger numbers. Okay. So take some time and fill in your paper example. And I'll know you're done. Negative 13 over 30. Okay. I'll know you're done when your templates are wiped. What? No, it's Wednesday, which I definitely forgot earlier. We're at 36.
Oh,
Okay, we're gonna do one more problem together and then I'll get you to your homework, okay?
number 4?
Yeah, we're gonna do number 4.
I don't have the answer. Oh, I think you speak a different language?
Tatum, can you tell me what the problem is? So minus 1/4. What do I do for negative 6, Reagan? You can put 1 as the denominator. So negative 6 is the same thing as negative 6 over 1. Okay. Okay. Austin, what are we going to multiply this by? Yes, 4. So now our denominator here is 1 times 4, which is
4.
4. So what do I need to multiply this fraction by? How about 1? Which is, okay. So we have negative 24/4 minus 1/4. So we know that our denominator is gonna be 4, but what about negative 24 minus 1? We did all of this work with adding and subtracting integers. Remember, subtracting is the same thing as adding the opposite. So what's negative 24 plus negative 1? Say that louder, Alexander. Negative 25. Good. Caesar, can I leave my answer as 25/4? Okay, do you know how we would change that? Okay, how many times does 4 divide into 25? How many? Did you say something? Okay, so how many times does 4 go into 25? I'm not asking you. 6. And what's 4 times 6? So how many are left over? So this is negative 6 and 1/4. Okay. So now I want you to write that in your paper notes. What's that? Yeah, and that's basically what I did. I just didn't do it till the end. So on page 19, you're gonna do 1, 2, 5, and 6. Those already have like denominators. Then you're gonna do 7 and 8, 12 and 16. So these already have the same denominators. Those should be quick. And then these, you're gonna actually have to make common denominators for. Okay, so I'm gonna give you time to work on this. You have about 10 minutes. So if you want to use those templates, go for it. If you don't, erase them and put them back in the middle where you got them from.